It's the day before Halloween, and today in the NFL, we saw some tricks and plenty of treats. In London, a victory disappeared for both Washington and Cincinnati. The Falcons and Packers faced off in a battle of the scariest QBs in the NFC. The Texans tried to turn the Lions back into pumpkins, while the Panthers looked to avoid a midseason coffin. Speaking of do or die, the Grim Reaper is in Chicago tonight as the Cubs try to stave off elimination.
Tell what's going to happen tonight. Cubs are going to get hot. They're going to hit. Pitching's going to be on. And the W will be flying high.
The World Series is next. But first, it's the OT presented by Lowe's. Just over 22 minutes away from Game 5 of the World Series, the Cubs will need Game 1 losing pitcher John Lester to come through tonight, or else just wait until next year for the 108th consecutive season. As we welcome you to the OT presented by Lowe's, a special thanks to Vince Vaughn for helping us with today's open. His new movie, Hacksaw Ridge, out in theaters November 4th. We will get you to the Cleveland Indians trying to close out the World Series in just a little bit. But first, a review of today's football.
All right, Packers at the Falcons. Aaron Rodgers, the great quarterback for the Packers, versus Matt Ryan. Fourth quarter, Rodgers to Jeff Janis, a 7-yard touchdown. 2-point conversion good, 32-26 Green Bay on top of Atlanta. Then with less than a minute to go, it's Matt Ryan to Mohamed Sanu, 11-yard touchdown. It's Atlanta 33, Green Bay 32. Chargers at the Broncos. Phillip Rivers picked off by Bradley Roby. He takes it back 49 yards for the touchdown. Denver's up 10-7. Then in the second quarter, we had a scary moment when Broncos defensive coordinator Wade Phillips had to be carted off on the sideline after being run over, taken to the hospital. We do not have a report on his condition. 10-7 Denver. Fourth and goal, though, it's Rivers looking for Hunter Henry. Incomplete. 27-19 Denver beats San Diego. Redskins and the Cincinnati Bengals in London. Fourth quarter. Kirk Cousins back. Jamison Crowder, where are you? Wide open versus the zone. 33-yard touchdown. Cousins, 458 yards passing. 2 touchdowns. 24-20 Washington. We're in overtime. We're tied. 27-all. Dustin Hopkins. Can he win it for the Redskins from 34 yards out? No. 27-27 Washington and Cincinnati. Seahawks at the Saints. Fourth quarter, Drew Brees, a quick slant, slow down by Brandon Cooks, a 2-yard touchdown. Saints fail on the 2-point conversion, 22-17. New Orleans up by 5, and then with 2 seconds left, Russell Wilson's pass incomplete. 25-20, New Orleans beats Seattle. Lions at the Houston Texans. Matthew Stafford, Brock Osweiler going at it. Osweiler back. Fedorowicz, wide open, 6-yard touchdown, 7-0 Houston. Houston goes on to beat Detroit 20-13. Arizona at Carolina. Carson Palmer under pressure. Remember the last time they played in the championship game, 7 turnovers by this offense, 6 by Palmer. Thomas Davis takes it back 46 yards. 30 Carolina, 20 Arizona. Patriots at the Bills.
Kansas City beat the Indianapolis Colts 30-14. And then the Patriots took on the Bills.
Sorry about that. Got a little carried away.
That's okay.
Patriots at the Bills. TV, Tom Brady, not me, looking for Chris Hogan. Back, set up, great pass protection. 53-yard strike, man-to-man coverage. Corners looking for help over top. He blew the coverage for New England beats Buffalo. The Raiders in this game, a great game. Howie, your quarterback.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
How many yards? 500 and how many yards?
513.
Well, you'll find out in just 1 second. That's a 41-yard touchdown. They win it in overtime, 30-24 at Tampa, and the Jets keep Cleveland winless on the season, 31-28. Now, today's top performer of the day, brought to you by Dodge, is Derek Carr. 513 passing yards, a new Raider franchise record. Also had 4 touchdowns, including the game winner in overtime. The top performer of the day brought to you by Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. And Jimmy, that game went down to the last minute, 45 seconds in overtime before Oakland won it. We saw Washington and Cincinnati finish in a tie. Last Sunday, Seattle and Arizona finished in a tie. Should the NFL just keep this thing going? Because a lot of people are saying right now, maybe it's time to get rid of the overtime ties.
Well, Washington and Cincinnati, they were desperate for a win. They came up with a tie, and they both feel like they probably lost right now. The people in London, yeah, they saw a competitive game, but you know, really, nobody likes a tie. I really believe the league's got to look at this and say, hey, let's have a winner. Now, I know we do it in the playoffs. Let's do it for the regular season. Let's get away with these ties.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking of the Raiders in this game, and Derek Carr, I love the Raiders. The Raiders are for real. You sit there every week, and you look at Derek Carr, you look at Crabtree, you look at Cooper, both over 100 yards receiving. They're getting creative on offense, throwing a touchdown to Donald Penn, the offensive tackle. This is the type of confidence you haven't felt from the Raiders in years. And I got to say, Howie, for your sake of watching you sit here and go through every week, for years, I'm happy to see the Raiders are back.
And the Patriots go to 7-1, 4-0 with Brady, Gronk, Bennett, Edelman, Hogan, Amendola, Blunt. I know it's the halfway point of the season. They've got a bye coming up, and, you know, we're a long way from the playoffs, but that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, you know, and you try to always look at something at the end of the day that's so positive, but I wonder to myself, why is it that Washington, the Redskins, can't close a game out? In the last minute against the Detroit Lions, they lose on a long drive by Matthew Stafford, and then today they miss a 34-yard field goal. This is a good football team, and all they need to do is win these close games in the fourth quarter. We saw Atlanta do it, but win it in the fourth quarter. Otherwise, Jimmy, your idea about the ties, I agree wholeheartedly.
Get away with them.
Yeah, it cost me a point today, by the way.
Overtime ties instituted in 1974. We've had ties in back-to-back weeks for the first time since 1997. Maybe they're becoming more frequent the way things are going right now. Talk about parity when we continue. As we get you set for Game 5 of the World Series, just over 16.5 minutes away at Wrigley Field. You will also hear from Pete Rose and A-Rod. You never know what those guys have to say.
My girl Cindy took advantage of Lowe's worry-free 30-day satisfaction guarantee on appliances. So it looks like it's out with the old and in with the new, huh, Cindy? Ain't no thing. I don't need no fancy ice dispenser. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where are we going? Where are they taking me? Yeah, upgrade, baby. That's what I'm talking about, Cindy. Mm-hmm. This stainless steel feel good on me.
Only those who dare drive the world forward. The Cadillac CT6.
I've learned thousands of plays under 5 different offensive coordinators. I've thrown over 5,300 passes in my career for over 60,000 yards. And that's just some of what I had to do to earn this jersey.
I went online and ordered it from NFLshop.com.
The best place to get authentic NFL gear, NFLshop.com.
Why have the latest smartphone if you can't use it wherever you go? Switch to U.S. Cellular for our best plan yet. 7 gigs of data per line for only $49. To share more photos at your cabin. Or video chat at your secret fishing spot. All for just $49. The best part? We put towers in places the other guys don't. Because U.S. Cellular thinks you deserve a signal that works wherever you are. Switch to U.S. Cellular and get a whopping 7 gigs of data per line for only $49.
I now pronounce you man and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Not the food.
I got you, sis.
Freaky fast.
Let's get pregnant.
Jimmy John's.
The OT is presented by Lowe's.
Well, we know it's the final game of the season at Wrigley Field. The question is, will it be the final game of the baseball season? To get us all primed for Game 5 of the World Series, we get it outside Wrigley, where Kevin, A-Rod, Pete, and Frank are standing by. Kevin.
All right.
righty, Kurt. We appreciate that. Looking high atop Wrigley Field, a cool night here in late October, and one the Cubs hope that they can extend this World Series to go and play it in Cleveland. Fans, they're a little nervous here tonight. A little different atmosphere than we had the last couple nights. Our set just outside center field in Wrigley. Yeah, come on in. Frank Thomas, Pete Rose, Alex Rodriguez, Tom Verducci. So I guess for the good news for the Cubs here, if you're trying to keep your season alive, guys, you've got the ace on the mound. That is John Lester with his postseason track record. But he's got a tough task ahead, Alex. What do we expect from Lester tonight?
He does, but for the Cubs, this is the dream scenario. They have their ace and two-time world champion on the mound, John Lester. For me, in order for him to be successful, he has to work his fastball and his cutter both sides of the plate, put him away either with an overhand curveball or the backdoor cutter. I expect good things tonight.
Well, it would help him if someone would like that fire in the first couple innings, gave him a couple runs to work with. Cleveland's just going to try to get on and steal bases and make this guy throw the ball around the field. If he does, they have a chance to beat him.
Lester needs to keep the ball in the ballpark tonight. Cleveland started to get a little swagger last night with big home runs. Shut him down early, get the energy back into the ballpark here tonight.
The guy I'm looking at, Jason Kipnis, yeah, he hit the home run last night. He actually told me his line drive single to left, his last time up, got him back on track where he wants to be, swinging the bat much better.
That's good news for the Indians. So tonight, we'll either see one or two things. Either the Cubs will extend their season and the series will go back to Cleveland, or the Indians will win the World Series for the first time since 1948. For now, back to L.A., Kurt and the fellas.
And hey, Tom Verducci, I didn't see you sitting there, so we weren't ignoring you.
Yeah.
Just didn't see you sitting on the end of the desk. Those guys have done a fantastic job. They've been a fun watch throughout.
People love that show.
Yeah, it really has been fun. All right, a fun game of football that just finished right here on Fox. Atlanta won it 33-32. Matt Ryan, 3 touchdown passes in the victory over the Green Bay Packers, and he talked about it with Aaron Andrews afterwards.
Well, as Matt Ryan just pointed out, he has lost his voice, but you snap a 2-game losing streak and one you needed badly. Green Bay goes up by 6. You take your team down the field to score. What was the difference this week for you, Matt?
You know what? We made the plays at the end of the game when we needed to. Obviously going against Aaron, it's going to be like this. He's such a great player. Luckily, we got the ball last, and we're able to make a great play to Mohamed Sanu.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right, you got it. Thank you.
Jimmy, you said in the pregame, this is an important game for both Green Bay and Atlanta. Atlanta came through at the end.
Yeah, Matty Ice, taking the ball and going down the field, going to Sanu, and really going away from Julio Jones. Julio Jones, #1 receiver in the league. But, Matt Ryan spread the ball around. He used Freeman. He used his other receivers. Gabriel for a big touchdown. I think Matt Ryan was the key to the win today.
All right.
They've been struggling in the fourth quarter. For them to do that at the end of the game, that's big for them.
Yeah, they've had 2 crushing losses the previous 2 weeks.
Up at the end, unlike the other games.
At the end, they gave up 32 points. They're going to need to straighten that out. But today, it worked out in their favor. All right. Countdown to Game 5 of the World Series continues. Bill Murray hoping his Cubs can keep hope alive at least one more game as they take on the Cleveland Indians at the top of the hour.
Is he gone? Finally! I thought he'd never leave.
Why are you texting my man at 2 a.m.?
If you want someone to leave you alone, you pretend like you're sleeping. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Taking selfies in the kitchen does not make you a model. Okay.
We're not hiding.
I am.
This is for everyone. Are you ready? We'll take 16 million tickets, 50,000 foam hats, 2 million of those, and 1 million with cheese.
Hot dog, hot dog. What do you want?
Hot dog.
3 million hot dogs and goosebumps. We'll need billions of goosebumps. 1 million pregame rituals.
Are you done?
What else do we need? Jerseys. We'll take all of them. And one almost perfect plan. Click, tap, dip, or swipe. Choose Visa, official payment partner of the NFL.
Let's go. In 5 days, experience Marvel Studios' most daring creation yet.
You cannot stop this, Mr. Doctor. Mr. Doctor. Doctor Strange.
Don't miss Doctor Strange. Rated PG-13. Get tickets in Real D and IMAX 3D.
Well, the crowd outside Wrigley has been fascinating, thrilling, exciting for us to watch all week long. Tonight is their final game there. Can they keep the series going? Cleveland will try and close it out and wrap up their first World Series title since 1948. Game 5 of the World Series. First pitch comes your way in just a little bit. But right now, it's welcome you back to the OT presented by Lowe's. The Carolina Panthers got the win today, 30-20 over Arizona, ending a 4-game losing streak and maybe saving their season. But despite the fact they got the win, Cam Newton took a lot of hits in this ball game, and he wasn't happy about it afterwards.
I don't know. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's really taking the fun out of the game for me, honestly. It really is, because at times I don't even feel safe, right? And enough is enough. You know, I plan on talking to Commissioner Goodell about this, but it's not fun. And I don't know what I have to do. I mean, I showed a lot of frustration today, and I apologize to the referee, you know, who I was talking to, but I don't think it's a person that can go through what I go through and still keep their head. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I think Cam has a gripe to a certain extent. I think because of Cam's size, and he is a massive quarterback. And I think it's the Shaq effect. They've talked about it down in Carolina with the hits in the pocket. And certainly I think the low hit could have been called earlier today. And we saw the hit earlier in the season. And maybe in week 1, I think he got hit in the head. Probably should have been flagged and ended up being fined later on. But when he takes the ball down and becomes a runner, he loses all the protections afforded to a quarterback. That you can't gripe for. And Cam's inability to slide or go down, and he slides more with his head than he does with his legs. So he's going to get hit more in those situations. I'm not sure specifically what he's talking about, and it didn't sound real good.
And I mean, the game is not fun. I mean, they're 2-5. The game is not fun at 2-5. I mean, the game is fun when you're winning and you're dabbing and you're doing all these things. But when you're losing games, but when you're winning these games, but your record is not what you expected, and the season is not going what you expected it to be, you're not going to have fun. This game is not supposed to be fun all the time. That's just not the way it works. But I agree with you, Hal. In a lot of instances, we did see the game earlier in the season where they were giving him shots that should have been called. But I think when he puts himself in a position of a runner, it takes away from some of that. But earlier in the season, they definitely should have protected him better.
Well, nonetheless, they got a big win today because they were 1-5. They get the win, ending the 4-game losing streak. They're now 2-5. The team that beat them in the Super Bowl last year, Denver, had what looked like a very scary incident on the sideline when their defensive coordinator, Wade Phillips, was hit during that interception return. We bring in Jay Glazer to give us the update and the latest as to exactly what's going on with Wade Phillips.
Kurt, exactly. Wade Phillips, scary situation, got hit on the sideline there. He's actually in the hospital as we speak. He's being checked out for a concussion. The good news there for Wade Phillips, all his extremities are moving. He was able to talk to team personnel as well, and they do expect him to be released from the hospital tonight. Now we're going from a coach with a concussion to players with the concussion. Alex Smith, quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is where you have a gray area when it comes to concussions. Earlier today, he was hit, taken out of the game, but he passed the concussion protocol and entered the game later on. He was hit again later and taken out of the game with yet another concussion. So, again, people are now up in arms about, well, why was he let back in the game? Alex Smith did pass the initial concussion protocol, but he's back in it. The running back, Spencer Work, he got knocked out of the game today with a concussion as well. Jamal Charles, their other running back, he's going to get a second opinion on his knee this week from Dr. James Andrews. And finally, we just watched the game, the Atlanta Falcons and Green Bay Packers. Ty Montgomery, we reported earlier today, it was a surprise that he was getting taken. He was not going to play in this game. And the Green Bay Packers and Montgomery are going to announce soon why Montgomery wasn't playing. It was an illness. It was not an injury.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay. The countdown to Game 5 of the World Series continues. Last night, it was a rough one in the field for Chris Bryant. A couple of errors. It hasn't been much better at the plate either. 1 for 14 in this series, but that one hit off tonight's Cleveland starter, Trevor Bauer. It's Chevy's most dependable plays of the day. Week 8 got off to an early start in London as the Redskins and Bengals finished in a thrilling tie. Backstage side, the stars shined as spectacular plays and big hits ruled the day. Brought to you by Chevrolet, the most dependable plays of the day.
Fox Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League. For NFL news and highlights, go to NFL.com.
So can I redeem my Rapid Rewards points at any time?
Yes, to any seat, any day, anytime. That's transparency.
At iWireless, $50 gets you truly unlimited high-speed data on Iowa's fastest 4G LTE network.
We have data caps and lice.
Upload photos, stream videos, play games.
Still downloading. Just shoot me.
It's not funny.
Right now, get a free 4G LTE smartphone. And 30 days of truly unlimited high-speed data, talk, and text is just $50 for one line, $120 for 4 lines. Get the real deal at iWireless.
5 nights a week, things are gonna get messy. Best friends, you are my very best friend. Seriously, it's like the best time ever. Just how we like it.
Weeknights at 5:30 and 11:30 on Fox 18.
It's amazing what the World Series can do. Say goodbye!
World Series Game 5 tonight on Fox 18.
Less than 2 minutes away from the start of Game 5, or our coverage of it here of the World Series. Cleveland trying to close things out at Wrigley Field against the Chicago Cubs. But as we wrap up the O2 presented by Lowe's, I want to find out from each of you who you thought won today.
Well, I'm going to go with the Saints. I thought their 25-20 victory over Seattle was outstanding. Their offense dominated. Hightower, their running back, over 100 yards rushing, running 72 plays, 28 first downs. Truly a dominating performance by the Saints offense.
I'll go Jack Del Rio, and the Raiders go to 6-2 on the year, 5-0 on the road, back-to-back wins on the road in Florida, and really Derek Carr is on fire.
I'll tell you who won the day is Kurt, Terry, and myself started at 3:30 this morning with the London game. And we're still going strong, baby.
You know
still
what?
going strong.
I was going to say, you guys, you won you won it because you've been here since 4 a.m., even though you two are up at 3 a.m. to use the bathroom anyway. And I got to say, it is amazing. You're combined 187 years old and you're still awake.
All right.
Howie.
Congratulations. Is that
that's who won the day.
I want to tell you who won the day. Sports viewers. Because we just finished up with a great football game decided by 1 point in Atlanta.
Yep.
Started the day with a 27-27 tie. Fans don't like ties, but at least it was a close game throughout.
Very good game.
And they get to wrap up their day right here on Fox with Game 5 of the World Series. The Cleveland Indians, 1 victory away from capturing their first series title in 68 years. The Chicago Cubs, 1 win away from keeping hope alive and sending the series to Cleveland. Let's send it out to Chicago. Take it away, Kevin.
All righty, Kurt, we welcome you to the Lincoln Motor Company World Series pregame show on Fox as we get set for game number 5 of this World Series from Wrigley Field. A cool October night here in Chicago. Perfect night for baseball. And boy, there's a lot on the line if you're John Lester. The season, as a matter of fact, for the Cubs. So they send their ace to the hill tonight to try and keep it alive and ship this series back to Cleveland. But he's got to get through Francisco Lindor, who's been just splendid in these playoffs. 7 multi-hit games, a couple in this World Series. Indians 1 win away from a championship. And these fans at Wrigley, well, they're a little nervous, but they're still loud, that's for sure. As we take a look at our set just outside the center field gate across from Murphy's bleachers here in Wrigleyville. Come on in. Welcome to the show. Frank Thomas, Pete Rose, Alex Rodriguez, Tom Verducci, and I'm Kevin Burkhardt. So the Cubs on the brink of elimination, and they've got a lot of work to do against these Indians. Frank, how do they save their season and get this back to Cleveland?
You can't say it enough. They got to score early and keep the energy in the ballpark. They got to lean on their fans tonight to help pull them through and try to win a game any way possible.
Well, I think Lester will pitch well. Will Cleveland remain hot? Will Chicago remain cold? That's the question that's going to be answered in the next 3.5 hours.
is a dream scenario for the Cubs. They have their two-time world champion and ace, John Lester, on the mound. Look, bottom line is you need a great pitched game by him. You need 3 or 4 runs, hand the ball to Chapman, and move on to Game 6.
For me, the story of the game is written in the first chapter, the first inning. Bauer really struggles in the first inning. I have not liked the approach of the Cubs the last couple of nights against curveballs. Really been jittery, nervous, chasing them. They have to make Trevor Bauer get that breaking ball in the zone. If they chase, long night for the Cubs.
And the Cubs haven't given their fans anything to cheer about in this World Series here at Wrigley so far, so there's been anything positive there. So Joe Madden tries to change it up today. He's done it before. He said, guys, don't come into 5:30. Come in late, get loose. Think it'll work, Frank?
Cub players are used to this. I don't think the world is used to this because this is the World Series, but it might loosen the guys up. You never know. Enough offensive approach they need to just stay through the middle of the field.
Well,
keep this whole field open.
Excuse me, Frank. I've had that happen to me many times during my career, but not during the World Series or during the playoffs. You got to get here and get the atmosphere going, get the batting practice, get the blood flowing, all the little things that make a good ball player.
Pete, I agree with you. When you get into this thing, and we've all gotten into them, it's not physical, it's not it's mental. And no BP or video is going to get you out of it. Take the driver and put it away. Stop thinking about eagles and birdies. Take a 7-iron, and if you don't know what that means, it just means play little ball, line drives.
Well, the Tiger.
They are.
Tiger.
Hey, play a little golf. The Cubs are having some big swings, and they are chasing. There's no doubt.
Yeah, big games, big stars. Just like you guys, I look for Bryant and Rizzo. I don't see a lot of offense at the back half of that lineup. I'm looking at Bryant and Rizzo tonight.
Yeah, and now we'll see if they can get just that.
Yeah, the Tiger's coming back. Are you coming back? Are you coming back?
Alex bringing the whole game here. Golf's on Fox.
Basketball.
He had a John Paxson reference the other day. You never know what's really going to happen here, and that's the deal. Game 5. Excited here at Wrigley. Why don't we go inside the ballpark and listen in to public address announcer Andrew Bellison.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again join Wayne Mesmer as he honors America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And so here we go. The Indians playing for a championship. The Cubs trying to keep their season alive. Joe Buck and John Smoltz have the call, and they'll join us after the break.
Is he gone? Finally. I thought he'd never leave.
Why are you texting my man at 2 a.m.?
If you want someone to leave you alone, you pretend like you're sleeping. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Taking selfies in the kitchen does not make you a model. Okay.
We
We begin with an update. Police have released a sketch of the suspect in yesterday's cookie theft. They say he needs a bath and is afraid of vacuums.
The new University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital is nearing completion. Our reporters weren't allowed in the construction zone, but as this highly accurate reenactment shows, it's going to be awesome.
The hospital is scheduled to open this December.
And after the break, new eyewitness reports claim my big brother actually did hit me first, Mom.
Shabana Creek RV, Atkinson, Illinois. Over 70 motorhomes in stock like this 2014 Coachman Sports Coach 40-foot, 4 slide-out, 5,000 miles. Price now at $159,995. Like this 2008 Itasca Meridian, 37-foot long, 2 slide-out, diesel-powered motorhome in perfect condition with only 21,000 miles. Sold new for over $200,000 and priced now at only $119,995.
Shabana Creek RV, Atkinson, Illinois.
Goods Furniture in Kewanee. Honest to goodness value, day in and day out.
Make a date with Mike and Molly. Weeknights at 5 and 11 on Fox 18.
Well, away we go. It's game number 5 on a Sunday night at Wrigley Field, the 89th and final home game for the Cubs at Wrigley for the entire 2016 season. It is a chilly night at the end of October. The Cleveland Indians up 3-1 over the Chicago Cubs. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. The Hall of Famer John Smoltz is coming right up. Well, you know what's on the line tonight. Does it end here in Chicago at Wrigley Field? The Cleveland Indians get a chance to celebrate their first World Championship since 1948, or do the Cubs, behind their ace, John Lester, force this series back to Cleveland, Ohio? It's going to be a fun night tonight on Fox. And welcome in, John. And I think so far what's been very evident that with all the pressure of these home at-bats in front of a raucous crowd at Wrigley Field, some of these young guys for the Chicago Cubs have been a bit overwhelmed. They got to calm it down a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. And what you got to tell yourself what we haven't done, you got to remember what we can do. And they can hit, they can run, they can play defense. And oh, by the way, they have their best pitcher on the mound. So the Cubs are going to have to get back to the basics. They're going to have to get this crowd into it. They only scored 2 runs here at home for John Lester. You see the numbers offensively. John Lester has to control the other team. And what the offense for the Cubs has to do is get the lead. They got to win the 5 innings. It sounds like a broken record, but the Chicago Cubs can flip the script really quickly. Lester, Arrieta, Hendricks.
Okay, let's talk about the Cleveland Indians now. This is a team that's firing on all cylinders, and tonight they've got Trevor Bauer going on short rest. We'll see a lot of the bullpen. Terry Francona is going for the throat tonight. It should be a quick hook night for the starter.
Yeah, and that's what the Chicago Cubs are up against. That's why if it's close in the 5th or a lead for Cleveland, he's turning it over possibly to his closer. Cleveland playing with house money. I hate that term, but they're going to run like crazy if they get on base. Cleveland's got all the momentum, and I think for Bauer, keep him in the game and then let Francona do the rest.
Off we go. It's game 5 of the World Series tonight on Fox.
Oh, we get what we deserve, and where down we go.
The Indians
Indians stand on the brink of their first World Series championship in 68 years. While Cubs ace John Lester carries the burden of 108 years of hopes and dreams. Will history be made tonight?
Hey, man, why aren't you streaming my game?
Hey, Bryce. I can't. I've got Verizon, and I've already reached my data limit.
You know this is the postseason, right?
Yeah,
you could be missing a classic.
You're killing me, man, but look, more data would cost me a fortune.
What if I just hit a walk-off bomb?
Nah, you didn't. Did you?
Why pay more for data limits? Introducing T-Mobile One. Unlimited data for everyone. Get 4 lines, just $35 a month. Welcome to Unlimited Baseball.
Can a toothpaste do everything well?
This clean was like, pow.
It added this other level of clean to it. 6 times cleaning.
My teeth are glowing. They are so white.
6 times whitening.
I actually really like the 2 steps.
Step 1 cleans, step 2 whitens.
Every time I use this together, it felt like leaving the dentist office.
Crest HD, 6 times cleaning, 6 times whitening. I would switch to Crest HD over what I was using before. Crest, healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Oh, this is awful. Try it.
Oh, no, that looks gross. What is that?
You gotta try it. It's terrible.
I don't want to try it if it's terrible.
It's like mango chutney and burnt hair.
No, thank you. I have a very sensitive palate.
Just try it.
Guys, I think we should hurry up.
If you taste something bad, you want someone else to try it. It's what you do.
I can't get the taste out of my mouth.
If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Shh. Dog, 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 dog.
Discover card? I'm not a customer, but I'm calling about that credit scorecard.
Give it?
Oh, sure, it's free for everyone. Oh, well, that's nice.
And checking your score won't hurt your credit.
Oh!
I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Free at discover.com/credit scorecard, even if you're not a customer.
You don't know this yet, but in 1,500 miles, you'll see what you're really made of. After 5 hours of spinning and one unfortunate ride on the Gravitron, your grandkids spot a 6-foot banana that you need to win. In that moment, you'll be happy you partnered with the Humana Care Manager and got your health back on track, because that banana isn't coming home with you until that bell sings. Great things are ahead of you when your health is ready for them. At Humana, we can help you with a personalized plan for your health for years to come.
One of the great international rivalries in world soccer. There's a lot of bad blood between these two teams.
Lightning doesn't strike twice. It struck 4 times.
The UFC's legendary New York debut begins on FS1 with the biggest prelims card in UFC history. Live from Madison Square Garden, Saturday, November 12th, only on FS1.
Tonight's telecast is sponsored by T-Mobile One. Welcome to Unlimited Baseball. Well, the wind is blowing in, maybe left to right just a bit. It's 51. It feels a heck of a lot colder than that. It's going to get more chilly as we go. That's what the Scarecrow would say in The Wizard of Oz. I think it's going to get colder before it gets warmer or something along those lines. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Cleveland Indians. 5th game, 5th different lineup. Rajay Davis, Jason Kipnis, and Francisco Lindor. In the middle, Mike Napoli, Carlos Santana, who's back in left, and Jose Ramirez. Show the hair, Jose. He's at third. Back end of it, Brandon Guyer, Roberto Perez, and Trevor Bauer. Lacerated pinky finger and all, ready to swing the bat and do what he can. On the mound, in the middle of all this defensive action, is Lester. He's got Zobrist in left. Dexter Fowler in center, Jason Hayward in right. Around the infield, Chris Bryant, Addison Russell, Javier Baez, and Anthony Rizzo. David Ross does the catching, and that's the usual combination. Ross and Lester, who has been outstanding since the All-Star break. He's lost only twice. One of those losses coming in game number 1 when he was matched up against Corey Kluber. Went 5 2/3, allowed 3 runs on 6 hits, but it's all on him now for the Chicago Cubs and these fans that are packed into Wrigley to try to get this series back to Ohio.
Yeah, he's been really good and really good at home. And I think you're going to see a subtle adjustment. Just based on the last game, I would think that John Lester's going to pound some fastballs in. The wind's blowing in from left. It'll carry a little bit to right. And look for him to pound more strike ones. He didn't do that as well as he would have liked to in the last game. And certainly keep the guys who can run off the bases.
That would include Rajai Davis, who's ready to go. And so's John Lester. Strike one. John Lester went 12 of 26 as far as first pitch strikes in game number 1. And Rajai Davis likes to get on and start the engines. He stole 43 during the regular season. Problem is he hasn't been getting on. 1 for 11 in this series. A pop-up right side. Will it stay in play? The answer is no. And Jason Hayward had to slide around one of the Indians' either pitchers or part of their personnel down in the Cleveland bullpen as that ball was coming down.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised whoever that is doesn't get out of the way, and the other guy doesn't get out of the way either.
They're not even watching. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Rajai Davis fouls it back.
Well, Lester was trying to get his sinker. He actually threw a lot of sinkers in Cleveland, partly due to maybe not feeling really good with the four-seamer and in. He's already pounded in Davis a lot more than he did.
Ball one.
You know, the goal for any pitcher when you're facing elimination, you want to be as sharp as you can be. You don't have to pitch perfect. Get that out of your mind. Don't try to pitch perfect because then you'll make more mistakes. But you want easy outs, easy counts, and less stressful situation if you can avoid them.
A ball and 2 strikes on Rajai Davis. 2-2. For coverage of this game in Spanish, please tune to Fox Deportes. 2 quick strikes on Davis. Now a 2-2 count. Lester got it.
Well, he goes to the two-seamer away. Just a great pitch after pounding him in with fastballs and cutters. First out of a guy who can run. A good start for Lester.
Number 2 hitter is Jason Kipnis, who hit a 3-run shot here last night over the wall in right. Strike one. And when he did it, the first visiting player to homer here at Wrigley in a World Series with a 3-run shot since Babe Ruth back in 1932. Here's the 0-1 from Lester. 0-2. Two out.
Good cutter right there. Trying to start it in against Kipnis. Actually has real good late action. And a good start.
John Lester has pitched in a couple of elimination games, and his team has gone 0-2 in those games. Number 3 hitter is Lindor, takes a strike. So Lester trying to come through for the Cubs. Couldn't do it for the Red Sox back in 08 against Tampa Bay. But he looks on tonight, at least in this first inning, pounding strikes.
That's what he needed to do, and getting inside to Lindor. Lindor getting 2 hits off him in the first game.
Last time Lester had a shot at an elimination game, he pitched for Oakland at Kansas City when he was traded in 2014 in the wild card game. He has a personal record of 0-1. His teams are 0-2. Tonight, trying to make a statement here in the first inning. His team down 3 games to 1. Statement made.
Plenty of closers have fastballs touching triple digits. But what set Mariano Rivera apart was his ability to deliver when it mattered most. At The Hartford, we share that same commitment to our customers, helping over 1 million small business owners prevail when the pressure's on.
What is that?
Man, I don't know. Ask Google.
An opening night on Broadway is kind of magic. I'm Beowulf Borat, and I'm a Broadway set designer. When I started designing Bronx Tale, the musical, I came up with this idea of 4 towers that were fire escapes, essentially. I'll build a little model in Photoshop and add these details in with a pen. I could never do that with a Mac. I feel like my job is to put out there just enough detail to spur the audience's imagination to fill in all the blanks. This Windows PC is amazing. Having all of my tools right at my fingertips is incredible.
Tonight's telecast is sponsored by MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay. Joe Madden told us before tonight's game, I have never wanted to see a Game 7 so badly in my life. Well, his team needs to come up with 2 wins to give the Cubs a chance in this series. Tonight, after a half, no score. Cubs coming up. Here's their lineup. Top 3, Fowler, Bryant, and Rizzo. In the middle, Ben Zobrist, Addison Russell back in the number 5 spot. And Jason Hayward back-to-back starts. Then it's Javier Baez, who's had a tough time in this series, 2 for 17. David Ross and John Lester hitless this postseason. And here is Trevor Bauer, the 25-year-old right-hander. Eccentric, a little different, pitching on 3 days rest. Had plenty of rest going into that Game 2 start, which he lost on Wednesday. 5-1 was the final. Ball 1 to Fowler.
But some think that might help him be less powerful with his fastball and have more command and finesse on 3 days rest.
Inside.
Fowler went deep last night. His only RBI of this World Series, 4 hits, 2-1.
Well, here's the unorthodox style. You don't see this typically before a start where he's outside the dugout getting ready before a big World Series start. And then right before he faces the Cubs, this is what he does every single time. Crow hops and throws it as hard as he can. But nobody questions the stuff he has. It's whether or not his game plan fits what the Indians are asking him to do and their catcher in Perez. They don't want him shaking off too much.
Fowler steps out, gets back in. Cubs are hitting just .204 with 39 strikeouts in this World Series through 4 games. That's strike 3 on the inside corner. And that pitch had good movement, life to it, and Fowler heads back to the dugout.
Well, with the angle that he delivers the ball, the unorthodox way that he throws, almost it seems like from his hip, that's actually a four-seamer that moves. Most of those pitches you would think are two-seamers, but because he has changed his arm slot and arm angle when he gets ready to pitch, he's got more lateral movement on that four-seam fastball with the 12-6 curveball that he also has in an arsenal.
Cubs need to get Chris Bryant going. Time's running out. 1 for 14 in this World Series. No RBIs, hitting .071.
And the message I would give if there's a teammate that maybe not playing is take your walks if you're the Cubs. Take them. See, you expand the zone and you want to make something happen via the hits. You'll get something going if you just take the walks that the Indian pitchers are giving you. That has been a theme for the Cubs so far in this series. Not taking the walks. Game 2, 8 walks, win.
That's popped up right side. It will get out of play for strike 2. Last night it was David Ross who said at times we're having a hard time slowing the moment down. The moment, the atmosphere of us wanting to do so much for these fans. I really think that's where it comes from. This place is electric, and the Cubs have been pressing. And now back-to-back strikeouts for Trevor Bauer. And Bryant didn't like the call. 2 out.
Well, they've been pounding curveballs against Bryant. And this one, again, see that break from top to bottom? That one split the plate. Bryant's going to think that's low. That's what they've been doing to both him, Baez, Russell.
Rizzo will try and break the string. 5 batters have stepped to the plate in Game 5, and all 5 have struck out.
Sure, we're going to find out if that's a World Series record if they strike out the side both. Stats on everything.
That's what Aaron Charlton's in the booth for. And the guys and gals at Stats Inc. Another strike.
Well, for the Indians, good sign. That curveball didn't come until about the 3rd inning in his previous start. So you can already see, he's more in rhythm on 3 days rest early in the 1st inning than he was in the game in Cleveland.
Saw Mickey Callaway, pitching coach, who's done such a good job with this staff for Terry Francona. There's so much to say about Francona. I know we went into some of it last night. Trying to win his 3rd World Championship. 2-1 on Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, and talking with him, still trying to make progress with Bauer, still trying to get him to come closer to halfway. He expressed to us last year at one point he threw 80 consecutive days off the mound. That just doesn't happen. But he's a unique pitcher.
That's hammered down the line. Foul. And out onto Sheffield.
Well, that's the side of the field where the wind won't affect it as much. It's going to be blowing in from center to left center. And he knows as soon as he hits it, too much hook.
In the air to left, and that will cut to Santana. And Carlos Santana, who makes his 2nd career start in left field, gloves it. No base runners yet. After 1 at Wrigley in Game 5.
Date of arrival?
Today.
Profession?
Magicologist. I studied magical beasts.
To provoke war between the magical and non-magical worlds.
The case. It was open?
Just a smidge.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX.
The new Pixel, phone by Google, only on Verizon.
Okay, Google, show me Korean restaurants in Boulder.
I found a few places. The only network that can power the first phone with the new Google Assistant, unlimited photo storage, and a stunning VR experience.
How is this possible?
So buy a Pixel only on Verizon and get up to $300 back. And right now, get 4 lines and 20 gigs for just $160 with no surprise overages. All on America's best network.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Oh, is this the new boyfriend?
Yes. We haven't met yet. You're the sweetest. Yes. Do you want to hold him?
Hold my baby, man.
So easy to dip, so hard to put down. Rolled chicken tacos. Tasty shredded chicken all rolled up with your choice of dips. Back at Taco Bell.
Electrical charges live at the heart of every hybrid. Only a few truly move us. With over 1 million on the road, Lexus hybrids are always charged and always ready.
Best Buy Blue Shirts make finding perfect holiday gifts easy. Why, if we made it any easier, the little drummer boy would work your office party.
And we all know why Phil loves the copier.
Holiday gifting made easy at Best Buy.
When I was a kid, I wanted to touch the skies.
I wanted to invent things. I wanted to protect others.
I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to make a difference.
I knew that one day I would be the difference. I am a special missions aviator.
Clinical nurse.
Pararescueman. I'm Captain Chris Niels, and we are American Airmen.
See more at airforce.com.
Whether you're wearing layers, beads, stripes, or cheese. If you bleed blue, black and yellow, purple, or various shades of red, this is your beer.
Home plate umpire tonight is Tony Randazzo. Joe West is at first base. Sam Holbrook at second. Chris Guccione over at third. And left, it's John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, and Marvin Hudson in right. That's on the inside corner. That's 11 strikes in 14 pitches from John Lester. Larry Vanover is the umpire back in New York. He'll watch the replays. Here's a little flare into shallow right center, out behind the second base position, one out.
Well, you can learn a lot by watching BP. And earlier today, balls to the left field, the hitters couldn't drive them out of here any depth or any height. But to right, Napoli was putting on a show, fading some over to right center. And you can tell the theme of Lester getting in on right-handers is going to be important, because he's going to want them to actually pull the ball in the air and not hit the slicers to the right side.
You weren't even looking at your monitor when we flashed up that last graphic.
I wasn't. What did it say?
Big swing and a miss by Carlos Santana, the last NL pitcher to strike out the first 3 batters in a World Series game. There, right there. Look, Reed.
Oh,
you in Game 5 against the Yankees.
Can we keep that up there for a while?
That was in Atlanta before the Yankees won it in Game 6. Here's a pop-up right side. Foul ball. Will it stay in play? Ross is there, and he gets an assist as Rizzo puts it away. 2 out.
Great job. Never assume anything. Right there. See that camera? That probably gave him a little bit of a reach. And here comes his partner in crime.
The old tip drill. If only Jim Harbaugh were here to see that. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
How about that? 2 out, nobody on, and Jose Ramirez steps in. Strike 1. Ramirez waits for the 0-1 and hits one a ton into left. Back at the wall, it is gone. And the Indians strike first in game number 5 here in the second. When he asked Terry Francona about Jose Ramirez, he says he's just made himself a great hitter. And after a terrific regular season, he has stayed hot in the postseason. Indians up 1-0 in the second.
You're right about that, making himself a great player. He has been outstanding all year. Doesn't matter what side of the plate.
Well, one inside to Brandon Guyer. Terry Francona moving these pieces all over this order. 5th different lineup that he's used through 5 games. And out of that number 6 spot, Ramirez goes deep. 1 ball, 1 strike on Geyer. We showed you the umpires, and everyone associated with baseball extend our condolences to the family of retired umpire Mark Johnson, who passed away on Wednesday. Tonight's umpiring crew personally conveys their condolences to Mark's wife, Lelia. So they are thinking of him tonight. The men in blue. And Brandon Geyer will try to follow that blast by Jose Ramirez. Just outside, and the count goes to 3-1. I don't think Ramirez could have hit that ball any harder.
It was perfect execution. You almost feel like he was looking for it, because John Lester threw it exactly where David Ross wanted it.
That's hard hit. Bryant. A dive, a throw, a dig. Got it. What a play. And Geyer says, let's check and make sure Rizzo's foot was on the bag. What a play on both ends.
Replay on the screen. Bryant, you see the ball down the line. Great extension. Taller third baseman gets up, and his teammate bails him out. Great pick.
And as of now, wow, the Indians are not going to challenge. And they've already said they're not going to challenge it. But it looks like Rizzo's foot's off the bag. Does it get back? We'll look at it again. But here's the home run. Jose Ramirez has gone deep. That's his first of the postseason. And the Indians strike first in Game 5.
When you have 4 legs, you really appreciate the 7th inning stretch. And it gives me just enough time to keep tabs on my money and banking. With my Bank of America mobile banking app, I can see my accounts all in one place. I can easily manage them, and if something doesn't look right, I'm going to know. Plus, I feel secure because I can set up alerts to help detect unusual activity. So I always have my eye on the ball. Oh, man. Typical.
Call you back.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there.
What a day.
With car insurance for when things go wrong.
What a day!
But also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Well, if you want to sing out, sing out. And if you want to be free, be free. 'Cause there's a million things to be, you know that there are. And if you want to be me, be me. And if you want to be you, be you. 'Cause there's a million things to do, you know that there are.
You get used to sweaty odors in your car. You think it smells fine, but your passengers smell this. Eliminate odors you've gone nose blind to for up to 30 days with the Febreze car vent clip. Break out the Febreze and breathe happy.
Everybody wants to go ahead. Like a pro. Yeah, now you good to go. Nobody. Nah. Nobody wants to die.
Rated mature.
For Jose Ramirez, his first home run away from Progressive Field since the 23rd of May. It's 235 at-bats ago, and it comes in Game 5 of the World Series in the second to give Cleveland a 1-0 lead, and Ben Zobrist is first up. We'll give you another look at that play at first base. It's close as to whether Rizzo got his foot back on the bag. Here's Zobrist into right. And that will curl to the right fielder. Geyer, one out. You could hear somebody in the dugout tell Terry Francona, look at the big replay board to see if you want to challenge it. The big replay board did not show this angle. Question is, does the foot of Rizzo get back on the bag before the right foot of Geyer The call was out. And as we've learned so far this postseason, John, unless it is clear and concise, they're not going to overturn it. Here's a strike into Addison Russell.
Yeah, being so early, up 1-0, and being so close, I don't think it was worth losing a challenge for Terry Francona.
1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Madden said Addison Russell is a big confidence guy, which means he's telling Addison Russell, I have confidence in you to hit the number 5 spot. He hasn't been in this spot since early on in the postseason. But because Joe Madden's looking for something, some spark in this lineup, he's got Russell back behind Zobrist. Check swing. 2-2.
Yeah, and he doesn't jump out like that, where he's swung a lot of those pitches. You could hear Joe Madden saying, come on, right field corner, double. He wants him to stay on the ball and go the other way and then react in. The curveball and breaking ball has just absolutely given Russell a lot of fits.
Full count.
And the other thing that's given the Cubs fits is this count. They have not won enough of these counts. 3-2. Let's just see if they can command the strike zone and be as calm as possible and not expand it on a 3-2 count.
That's down the left field line, headed for the seats foul. Last night was the first time since Game 5 of the division series with the Washington Nationals that the team that scored first lost. Cubs scored first last night, but lost the ball game. Here's one up the middle. Russell's on with 1 out.
That's a good sign. 3-2 curveball, and he stays on it. See how he stays on it and goes right up the middle. Even though he might have been a little fooled, he keeps his hands back and doesn't try to do too much. If you try to flat out pull that ball, that's where you're going to miss it, or you're going to make it out, rolling it over to the third baseman. Those are the kind of at-bats in a baseball game, one at a time, pass the baton down, let the next guy do his job. That's the only way you get back for the Chicago Cubs offensively in this series.
Back-to-back starts for Jason Hayward, coming off his first multi-hit game since September 26th. And he would like to reward Joe Madden for going back to him in the lineup last night because of how good he is defensively out in right. With John Lackey on the mound, and he got a couple of hits, so he's back in there tonight. Batting in the 6th spot.
And again, I got to re-echo, this is not a fun position for Jason Hayward, as the year did not go the way he wanted. You get benched, your pride takes a hit. He's handled it, from what we can see, as good as possible. He comes in, pinch hits, plays the defense, but that pinch hit line drive to center, and now he's been swinging the bat a little bit better.
2-0 pitch.
Those are the pitches, though, that you got to keyhole. You got to sell out at some point in one area when you're having the at bat in your favor at 2-0.
Just took it for a strike. It's 2-1. Right side foul. 2-2. Hayward now with Baez on deck. And then remember, David Ross does the catching for Leicester, so he's in the number 8 spot. Got him looking. And that good moving pitch that jumps back into the strike zone. The one that got Fowler gets Hayward.
See, when he stays on top, instead of, I call it, throws a shot put, he has the capability of throwing fastballs that can do what Kluber did. But when he gets out of whack and rushes, he rides the ball up. He's a high fastball, curveball guy. But when he gets out of rhythm, he's higher than high, and it doesn't make it look good. For Baez, I would be on the attack first pitch and then be cautious once they get strike one on you.
What? Ball one inside.
What's happening is he's missing the first pitch, and then once he gets a strike on him, they start expanding the zone and don't even come close to throwing him another strike. And unfortunately, he's helping him out.
2 for 17 in this World Series. There's a strike.
Well, this is what they've been doing to him. And the one thing that I can tell you from being on the mound, when the hitter gives you these scenarios and you expand the zone and you don't swing at strikes, you're not going to get many more. Once you get a strike on this guy, you just see how far he's willing to fish. And you go higher than high, lower than low. It's a perfect example. It almost speeds his mind up when he gets a strike. Instead of trusting that he doesn't going to see another strike, it's almost like if you could put the take sign on once Baez gets a strike, which you know they're not going to do, he would be better served to get the count back in his favor. But lately, he's just hoping they make a mistake in the middle of the zone because he's already committed.
He goes after that pitch in the dirt, and a strikeout on another bad ball way out of the strike zone. And that's the first swinging strike 3 that Trevor Bauer has picked up. 4 strikeouts, and after 2 in Game 5, 1-0. Indians on top.
Today, we're talking about automotive awards. Which one of these awards appeals most to you?
Top safety pick, mid-size car, and SUV.
Most dependable means a lot to me.
The green car, because I like fuel efficiency.
What if there was a car company that received all of these awards?
One company, one award in all these? Chevy.
Chevrolet is the most awarded car company of the last 2 years.
I love it. It's fierce.
How would you sum this car up in one word?
Incredible, amazing, and I can't use one word.
Hey, Evan. So, you're stuck at a work thing. With DirecTV and AT&T, you can stream all your favorite shows without using your data. That makes you more powerful than a table for 60.
Wednesdays are the new Thursdays.
Or the mandatory after party.
How early is too early to leave?
You're not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
It's your TV. Take it with you. Watch all your live channels on your devices data-free.
Who's ready to tailgate? Yeah!
You know, they say the pregame is almost as important as the game. I gotta agree. You guys have your football practice. That's for you. But this is how we get ready.
Tailgating! Woo!
Do you have a pregame ritual? Like something wacky you do? Like
You should just scream in the mirror. I'm hungry.
I'm on it.
Larry Culpepper, this is for you.
Oh.
In your face!
I go down the pepper here.
That's it. That's it.
There's a new taco hero in town. In Game 1 of the World Series, Francisco Lindor stole a base for Cleveland and free tacos for America. Run into any participating Taco Bell to score your free Doritos Locos Taco Wednesday, November 2nd from 2 to 6 p.m. Only at Taco Bell.
Halloween break.
Chance the Rapper. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
That's a good song.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Wear with the best wear. MLBshop.com.
Just getting started.
It's a brand new offseason on MLB Network with an all-star lineup, including baseball's only offseason TV morning show. We live baseball 24/7, 365 on MLB Network.
Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Chevrolet. More 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand. The Cleveland Indians have won 15 straight when they've hit a home run, including 9-0 in the postseason. And that goes back to how good their pitching's been. The Indians come into this game with a group ERA of 1.68 this postseason. That's the 4th lowest ever In the history of the postseason, minimum 7 games, and they've done it against Boston, Toronto, and now the Cubs. 3 good hitting teams typically.
It'd be 1.3 without Bauer. Bauer's the only one that's had some hiccups.
1 ball, 1 strike on Roberto Perez. Against Lester, went 1 for 3 with a home run in game 1. Had a home run later in the night. Ball 2.
It's just the Indians have been amazing on their opportunities. I mean, when they've squared some balls up, it's with the wind blowing in, and they have made this park look small with the wind blowing in.
Two and 2. Popped up on the infield. It's Bryant coming to get it. And in foul ground, has it 1 out. With a pitcher, Trevor Bauer, coming up. We look at what's going on with this Indians pitching. 5 shutouts in 12 games. And obviously there are more opportunities, more rounds in the postseason now. Divisional play starting in 1969. But that's the first team in postseason history to throw 5 shutouts. Meanwhile, you look at what the starters and relievers have done, and the ERA almost identical, and the innings pitched not too far away between the starters and relievers for Terry Francona. Strike 1 on Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, they've been outstanding, both sets of it, starters and relievers. If I'm Trevor Bauer, I don't even swing. He's got that pinky issue. Don't even mess with it.
10 stitches in the right pinky.
It's cold. All you got to do is get jammed.
Here's a 0-2 pitch. Ball 1.
Matter of fact, there's times I've been up there. I've told the umpire, seriously, don't mess around. Get me out of here. Anything close, call strike. And the catcher looks at me like I'm baiting him, like I'm setting him up for a pitch down the middle.
2 and 2. And Lester's yelling at himself.
I had a little chip fracture, and I didn't want to swing. I didn't want to do anything. And there were about 2 starts I did.
2-2 pitch. That is a foul ball, and Joe West was almost hit by it and then gave the foul call. Sandy Alomar is saying, hey, wait a minute. That looks fair. Let's give it a look. It went right between Joe's legs. This ball was really close to being fair. I think he got the call right.
Yeah.
Terry Francona went out to talk to the home plate umpire. That's Tony Randazzo. And he goes down to Joe West to make sure. Joe West, the old Elon College quarterback. A little shake of the head from Terry Francona, but I think that replay showed that it was the right call. So forget about Trevor Bauer not being able to swing the bat. We keep acting like people know what we're talking about. Was fixing his drone on the Friday before the ALCS started. One of the propellers started, cut his pinky on his pitching hand. It required 10 stitches. He could only throw 21 pitches in his Game 3 start. Had to come out. Here is Hayward. Made the catch. And even Bauer has to smile at that. He climbed the wall and had to reach behind him. 2 out.
Yeah, he was prepared to go in the stands. You see him reach up and come back and get it. Well, the Cubs, widely known for their great defense, they've had some hiccups the last couple games, and Bauer giving them his approval.
Rajay Davis now struck out his first time. Breaking ball for a strike.
Solo home runs. Pitchers don't mind giving up solo home runs. You just don't want to get chaos on the bases if you're John Lester.
Especially if you're John Lester. With his issues with throwing to first, Chris Bosio is pitching coach. Here's the 0-2 to Davis. Ball one.
Tried to backdoor a cutter right there, and he just got out in front of himself. Lester on only a couple pitches has been a little frustrated. Stay back and trust it.
Well, the defense hurt the Cubs last night. Chris Bryant committing 2 throwing errors in the same inning. Coming in the second, a 2-run second, where the Indians entered trailing 1-0 and left the frame up 2-1. Pretty much were in control the rest of the way. Won at 7-2. Here's one to Baez. Bryant's already made a good play in this game tonight. A good play by Rizzo. Actually 2 by the first baseman. Now this by Jason Hayward. Almost went too far. 1-0 Cleveland.
Okay, let's call this agent. I'm coming over right now. Tell Caesar to keep his toga on. I'll be right there.
The newly advanced GLE can see in your blind spot. Onboard cameras and radar detect danger all around you. Driver assist systems pull you back into your lane if drifting.
Hi, Chief.
Hi, Bobby.
And will even help you brake if necessary. It makes driving less of a production. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
For all my life, I'll be devoted to you.
How do you become America's #1? Start by taking care of families for 70 years. Earn the trust of 32 NFL teams. Be there for America's toughest. And help when help is needed. America's #1 isn't a status earned overnight. It's earned in every wash and re-earned every day. Tide, America's #1 detergent.
Remember 2007? Smartphones? OMG. 10 years later, nothing's really changed. It's time to snap out of it.
Hello, Moto.
Snap on a JBL speaker, a projector, a camera that actually zooms. It's a phone you could change again and again and again.
Hello, Moto.
Get excited, world. Moto is here. The new Moto Z with Moto Mods.
This is my retirement. Retiring retired tires, and I never get tired of it. Are you entirely prepared to retire? Plan your never-tiring, retired tires retirement with E-Trade.
I'm Invests, and as a vested investor invests, I invest with E-Trade, where investors can investigate and invest. Invests. Or not invests.
Sign up at etrade.com and get up to $600.
Well, David Ross got an assist earlier. We flash back. 1980, Game 6, second to last out. Frank White hit it. Bob Boone deflected. And Pete Rose was there to grab it for the out. Second inning tonight in Game 5. David Ross was there. So was Rizzo. And part of the good defense tonight for the Chicago Cubs, who trail 1-0, and Ross leads it off. Cubs are hoping to extend this World Series to a Game 6 in Cleveland, and David Ross hoping to extend his career to a Game 6 in Cleveland. He's finished after the 2016 season at the age of 39. Concussions, one of the reasons why, probably the biggest. He can still play. Loved on this team, loved in the seats, in the hole here, 1 and 2.
Well, for Bauer and the Indians, they've got to be pleased. He's throwing strikes. He's got his finesse pitches working. He won't have to be in there very long if they have a 1 or 2 run lead. They'll go right to the pen as soon as Terry Francona thinks his advantage with the guys he has down there can take the rest.
Well, keep this in mind. Cody Allen, the closer, could come on as soon as the 5th. Left side, this is Lindor with plenty of time and plenty of arm. And I didn't misspeak. We talked to Terry Francona before the game, and he said, well, we could flip-flop and give the bulk of the work to Cody Allen. He'll be ready early. I said, well, how early is early? Like end of the 6th? He said, no, 5th. So that's at least in his mind. Who knows if that comes to pass, but between Allen, Shaw, and Andrew Miller, who is available tonight, those big arms will be seen out of the bullpen as the Indians try to end it here in Chicago.
Yeah, make no mistake, even Terry Francona, when talking to him about the scenarios, he said, look, we can't do this in the regular season. Everyone's getting all excited. All the people who think this is the way you manage games in the regular season, there's no way I can use my pen that way. Matter of fact, if we were well equipped and healthy in our starting rotation, it would be a different story.
Lester strikes out, and that is 5 strikeouts for Trevor Bauer. Terry Francona, who, as we showed you, has a great record in elimination games. He's lost only 1 World Series game while he's gone 11-1. I think he's staring at the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's already won 2 World Championships. He goes to Cooperstown with another automatically and may even go in with 2 for the job he did with the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's not thinking about that, but you know that if he gets his 3rd in the 2 places where you eliminate a long time where Boston hadn't won, now Cleveland hasn't won.
2-0 to Fowler. He changed up on him. Had Fowler way out in front. Trevor Bauer much better tonight than game 2.
He's in much better rhythm, and even that pitch right there, not giving in to the count, showing finesse.
2-1. That is foul down the line.
You know, you think about it, and it just sometimes, and for the Chicago Cubs, it really is just simple. You really believe you can win 3 games in a row with the pitchers you're going to run out there, but you're going to need a little help from your offense. They did it 18 times this year, win 3 games at least in a row.
But they're going to have to string together better at bats.
No doubt. I mean, the top half of this lineup's got to cover the bottom half. They've got to be better than what the bottom half is not doing.
Here's a 3-2. High fly ball into right. Geyer to his right. Trevor Bauer in charge so far. 4th inning rolls in game 5. Indians coming up as they lead by 1.
I'm here in Bristol, Virginia, and now I'm in Bristol, Tennessee. On this side of the road is Virginia, and on this side, it's Tennessee. No matter which state in the country you live in, you could save hundreds on car insurance by switching to Geico. Look, I'm in Virginia. I'm in Tennessee. Virginia, Tennessee. And now I'm in, Virginia Sea.
See how much you could save on car insurance.
Or am I in Tenagina?
I will follow you wherever you may go. There isn't an ocean too deep, a mountain so high it can keep me away from my love.
thinks you got to make a truck heavier to make it stronger has been working too long without a hard hat. Meet the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. They cut weight with a high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy body and reinvested a big chunk of it to beef up the high-strength steel frame, forging the most capable heavy-duty pickup in America. Time to punch work in the face. This is the next level. This is the all-new Ford Super Duty.
Attention shoppers, Nabisco is celebrating 115 years, giving away $115,000 and other daily cash prizes. Buy today for your chance to win. Visit Nabisco.com to learn more.
As we welcome you back to Game 5, the hottest, most dramatic show on television. Empire is all new Wednesdays on Fox. Trey Byers, Grace Byers, who star in the show, married in real life, here amongst the fans at Wrigley Field. Where the Cubs face elimination, the Indians face an opportunity to win their first world championship since 1948. First up, Kipnis takes a strike. Jason shows bunt. That is a fair ball. Great job by Ross as he pounced on that before it could roll foul. One away.
And that's what the Indians have to do. That's exactly. But the problem is you want to bunt it out towards the mound. You want to make Lester feel this. Watch how it just dies right here. Just stays right there. And Ross knows he's got to get this quickly, and it's an easy out.
He is an extra leader that Joe Madden has out on the field with his team facing elimination here tonight. David Ross. With one out, nobody on, here's Lindor. High fly ball into left. Coming to get it, Zobrist. 2 quick outs. And the batter will be Napoli. Beautiful shot of the great city of Chicago. And tonight's telecast is sponsored by Bud Light. Lady Gaga's new album, Joanne, available at Apple Music. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Downtown all lit up, John, and tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
I'm going to get in one of these days.
Here is Napoli hooking it foul down the line.
Well, Lester's doing everything you could want a starter to do in elimination. He's throwing strikes. He's getting easy outs. Yes, 1 ball left the yard. 1 run's not going to beat you. That's what you got to tell yourself. And certainly, you're making a statement for your ball club to say, I'm on. All we've got to do is get on the scoreboard, and we will win.
That's strike 2. Each side has only 1 hit, but the Indians made it count with a Jose Ramirez 2-out solo shot in the second. Ryan, Rizzo, and Zobrist coming up for Chicago in the bottom of this 4th.
Napoli hit a ball here yesterday that would have been in the street. No doubt. Absolute moonshot. He himself couldn't believe that that ball stayed in the ballpark.
Two and two. Full count.
He's tried to go away after establishing in. I wonder if he'll go cutter in and try to get under the barrel. Napoli likes the ball down. Let's see where David Ross goes on a 3-2 count.
The back will wait. Will that stay in play? Rizzo and Ross. It's Ross. Inning over. He's right in the middle of it all. Ross gets this one. No assist. Bottom of the fourth, 1-0, Cleveland.
It's not just a car, it's your daily retreat. The ES and the S Hybrid. Get up to $5,000 customer cash on select 2016 models. See your Lexus dealer.
So can I redeem my Rapid Rewards points at any time?
Any way you want it, just the way you need it. Any way you want it.
Thanksgiving. 4th of July?
Yes to any seat, any day, anytime. Just the way you want it. That's transparency.
It's your TV. Take it with you. With DirecTV and AT&T, watch all your live channels on your devices data-free. Switch to DirecTV and lock in your price for 2 years. Offers starting at $50 a month.
With over 1 billion color combinations, you'll wonder where the screen ends and life begins. The clearest, most vivid picture we've ever created. This is TV. DSU HD TV from Samsung.
Inside the rack houses of Jim Beam, thousands of barrels lay silent. Aging, building a fuller, smoother flavor that only comes from being aged 4 long years. At Jim Beam, our history's made from the inside. How will you make yours? Now try Jim Beam Apple, poured over ice and served with club soda and a fresh lemon wedge to make a crisp, refreshing Jim Beam Apple and Soda.
There's free shipping on this XPS 13 and everything else at Dell.com. Remember when they used to say free shipping and handling? Whatever happened to the handling? Well, that's right. I do all the handling.
Can you handle this laptop before we ship it, Nick? Thanks.
Well, I'm happy to help. There's free shipping and handling on everything at Dell.com.
Okay.